Hello everybody watching this video, my name is Spot and welcome back to my Pokemon gyms of every type. The Rock type has certainly been the most difficult team to go ahead and put together. I would say probably even harder for me than the Fire type gym, even though the Fire type gym had kind of less options to actually work with. I feel like one of the reasons for that is a lot of the Pokemon that I wanted to use, or just a lot of the options that we had, kind of had one major issue that really held them back. Usually, from what I could gather, that was usually either late evolutions, like not evolving till your first, not evolving till like 30 and 50 or something like that, or it was just like they were too strong too early on when you could evolve them really quickly. The second issue I really ran into it is the Rock type isn't really as expansive as I would have hoped. I mean, it's like there's a lot of Pokemon, sure, but sometimes what they do and what they try to do just overlaps so much, and it was pretty difficult to find like a good synergy of the team. That's the word. Now, I will say though, even though I'm saying like lack of synergy and all that kind of stuff, a lot of it adds still is like my preferences, like some of my preferences for synergy and some of my preferences for how the team is constructed didn't really hit quite the way that I want to with a lot of these rock types, so that's part of the reason I have the issues with it. Because the thing is I do like a lot of rock types, just for some reason they didn't click for me for a lot of these teams. To make 8 separate teams, it was really hard for me to find something that I actually really liked and wasn't just like, okay. And a lot of the reason too that it was for me a lot of the time was I like trying to make my gyms with a little bit of continuity as if the team is growing and stuff, and doing that with the rock typing was really difficult because a lot of rock types don't naturally have that little gym 1 2 3 4 5 8 level curve, so it kind of made it a little bit more difficult at the beginning for me. So I do think it would be really interesting what my 8th gym would be in terms of this video, and what it'd be like as if I didn't hold myself to the constraints of kind of like an evolving team. I think it'd be a very interesting situation because I think the teams would be pretty different if I had rock types. But for this video, like I said, I like to add a little bit of continuity inside in that, so that's what we'll go ahead and see for this video. Gym 1, we're going to go ahead and lead off with Dwebble. Dwebble, I think, probably is honestly one of my favorite Pokemon designs of all time. I don't think it's necessarily one of my favorite Pokemon, but in terms of just like a hermit crab with a big old giant rock on its back as its shell, I just find really cool and very much enjoy. As well as Dwebble can't really do too much early on fighting wise, which is fine. I mean, the bug typing helps a lot to go ahead and take out grass types, but in terms of offensively, it's really just there to be like an opening support. The ace of our team is actually the moon. Well, not literally, but Lunatone will be our ace for this gym. Lunatone is a very strange case to me. It doesn't quite feel out of place as the first gym ace, but also doesn't really feel out of place as the ace of St. Eliza's gym. Now, obviously some theming and getting used to it by playing Gen 3 for so long and having that around for so long, obviously Lunatone would feel a little bit more comfortable, but it really feels like Lunatone can be very good anywhere from Gym 1 to Gym 8. I do think Lunatone is a little bit better early game. I think it's built to be a little bit better as an early game ace, like an early game, or just hard hitting special Pokemon. But like I said, later on, it still very much can be a very valuable team member. And for the first gym, our TM will be Rock Tomb. It's just fun and a really solid rock move, and I think anyone would take it. Gym 2, we actually are going to go ahead and move Lunatone out of the ace slot and bring in a brand new one. Dusk form Lycanroc is easily my favorite out of the 3 Lycanroc forms to choose from. The stat distribution between the 3 Lycanroc forms tends to make the midday the most offensive, and the midnight the most defensive, and Dusk ends up being the balanced one. And with the way I like constructing my teams and the Pokemon I like to choose, I typically like the most balanced option in most scenarios, and Dusk form was also the first time I used Lycanroc because I had the mystery gift from, I think, what was it, Ultra Moon that I used, and I really enjoyed Lycanroc that entire time. As well as, even though Dusk form Lycanroc is the, I guess, the balanced one per se, it still is very fast and hits very hard, so having a really fast rock type when there really aren't that many out there is very helpful to have early on. Gym 3, we are going to go ahead and switch out our lead of Dwebble. Unfortunately, Dwebble really doesn't evolve until level 34 into Crustle, so it kind of just makes it a bit of a liability from now on for another few gyms, so there's really no point of having it as the lead anymore. Our new lead Pokemon actually evolves from its space stage to its first stage at the lower level of 25. Boldore is going to come in and kind of just be our stealth rocker for the time being. Even though, like, I know everyone on the rock team could technically be a stealth rocker, considering the fact all of them pretty much could probably learn stealth rock, but it's kind of going to be more Boulder's designated role at the lead right now. Plus, don't sleep on Boulder's stats too much. Its attack and defense are very much still very good, so on the physical side of things, it can really do some work still, especially those where it very much lacks, and of course with its speed, so any special type grass or water type Pokemon really will take it out fairly easily, but as long as it gets the layer of Stealth Rocks up before it goes down, that's what I'll take. Gym 4, I want to add a really fun Pokemon that I don't think gets appreciated enough for how unique it is. Minior, I feel like, is a really fun Pokemon with a really unique ability, and I don't think it gets talked about quite enough. Essentially, when it's over 50% HP, it's in its defensive form with better defensive stats, and once it goes below 50%, its stats turn extremely offensive, and it's in its core form, I believe it's called. Now, obviously, an ability like that can be taken advantage of very much so in competitive battling. That's why I think it was like an NU or RU when it was out competitively, but I think it's still really fun to have in like more of a normal Let's Play playthrough type of scenario. So I don't really mind having a Pokemon that isn't that great competitively, just to have a really fun ability to show off, as well as having a flying type so we can go ahead and be immune to those ground type moves, because that's going to be a big weakness of ours going throughout the rest of the team. Gym 5, I feel like it's probably time for us to move off of Lunatone for the time being. I know I said earlier I think Lunatone can be great throughout all of the gyms pretty much, but like I said also, I think it really is best as an early game like sweeper, as an early game ace, so I'm going to go ahead and move him off the team, and I'm actually also going to bring Lycanroc as the ace and move him more to the middle of the team to make room for our brand new ace. Kleavor to me is a very shocking addition in Gen 8, even with the prehistoric themes in Legends Arceus. Now, it makes sense to me to have a Pokemon that evolves via metal coat, like Steel, to be more in the modern era, and for a Pokemon to then evolve via rock, more in the prehistoric, like Distant Past, where Legends of Arceus goes ahead and takes place. It feels like Scizor didn't need any extra love. Scyther is already a very good Pokemon to begin with as a first stage evolution, and Scizor is a fantastic evolution that's been great in the competitive Pokemon scene for a long time, and then you add on top of it its Mega Evolution that I got. I mean, it's gotten plenty of love, and I feel like putting a big spotlight over the years, so I didn't necessarily think they needed a split evolution for it, but I think Kleavor's still really cool anyways, even if it's not nearly as strong as Scizor is. I think Kleavor's signature move of Stone Axe is also a very cool ability to have. I mean, like I said, it's a move, not ability, but to be able to just be able to hit at, like, I think, what, 60 power roughly, and be able to scatter Stealth Rocks all over the opposing team's field, just from a move to also damage, being able to have that is just great in any type of situation that you can think of. Now, even though that does set up Stealth Rocks extremely well, and that is typically probably you would want Stealth Rocks up immediately at the beginning of the battle, because in the fact we have a whole rock team and everybody can kind of set up Stealth Rocks at any point, I kind of view Kleavor a little bit more as like when Stealth Rocks is taken away, either by Rapid Spin or Defog, he'll come back in later and just Stone Axe and just put him back up, probably more late game, just to get that little bit of chip damage when, like, really late on. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and bring in a new TM, and we're just going to go ahead and pop in Rock Slide, because it's just a better Rock Tomb, and just fun and really solid for this point in the game, just like Rock Tomb was. Gym 6, we're actually going to switch out Minior, which feels terrible, because of the fact I just added him not too long ago, and I just talked him up so much about how fun and cool he is, but I mean, he's just kind of there to chill in the middle of the gym battle challenge at this point. He's not going to be anything too crazy later on. Plus, we actually have a better rock flying type that we could go ahead and put on the team. Aerodactyl has been a really good fast option really for a really long time since Gen 1. It's so fast, it really can outspeed a lot of Pokemon that are kind of considered fast nowadays, and it's kind of really kept up with the power creep over the past couple generations. Pair that with its really solid attack and just good enough defenses, it's not necessarily going to just go down in one hit. It's not a Pokemon that has to outspeed or else it's going to die immediately. It can hold its own for a little bit longer. And plus, even if it isn't our ace, it still can very much Mega Evolve, which is still a very great option to have. Gym 7, and I think we need a new lead. Boulder has been good up until now, and I typically just to like evolve the Pokemon and put like a Gigalith in there as the lead of my team, but at the same time, I don't think I actually want two pure rock types at this point in time. I think Lycanroc I much rather prefer to be my pure rock type than Gigalith on the team. So I think we're going to go ahead and swap out our Boulder for a Cradilly. A big reason I want to go ahead and put Cradilly as the lead of the team is it just comes in and immediately scares off any water types from immediately sweeping the team. Just add Storage Drain, which is a fantastic ability and actually boosts its stats alongside of just being a water absorb essentially for Cradilly. I think it really like pushes people away from just setting up a water sweep. As well as another big thing at this point is Cradilly gives us another special attacking option at this point, considering the fact we don't have Minior or Lunatone anymore, and those were like the rock typing really lacks some really good special attacking rock types. Now, Minior, and more importantly now, Cradilly, really are just mixed attackers. I believe they have the exact same attack and special attack, but obviously I would use them more on a special side, considering the fact that everyone else is physical attackers from here on out. Talking about physical attackers, I actually want to add another Pokemon on Gym 7. Tyrantrum is a physical monster. Both its attack and its defense are in a fantastic spot, similar to how I was talking about Boldor earlier in the game. And then add on Tyrantrum's ability, Strong Jaw, makes all of its biting moves incredibly stronger. I think it's 1.5 times as much stronger. You can add Crunch, Fire Fang, Ice Fang, all the biting moves, and it will do absolutely fantastic. Plus, don't sleep on that dragon typing. That will help us out a ton in terms of some of our resistances of moves that we are already weak to severely. Gym 8 and its Cleavor's time to actually not be our lead anymore. Now, if our ace didn't evolve so late and wasn't so poor so early on in a lot of situations, I would have had this thing on our team so much earlier because of how much I love it. Tyranitar, the pseudo-legendary, one of the many well, I wouldn't say many pseudo-legendaries at this point, but one of the pseudo-legendaries at this point, and it rocks that title really well by just always being so strong. I don't think I need to go in too much detail of how good Tyranitar is, and I think it really is, like, pretty much speaks for itself, as well as somehow you guys saw my Mega Power Nuzlocke that I played a couple years ago. Tyranitar was a monster that entire series. Now, I don't know why you'd watch that series because of how bad it is, kind of holds up nowadays, but at the same time it got a lot of views, so who knows who saw that video. But yeah, considering the fact I played that series, it was like 50 plus videos or whatnot, and Tyranitar was my starter, and I believe on my team up until the end, I absolutely started falling in love with that Pokemon so much more. I always liked it beforehand. I liked all the pseudos, so it's like it wasn't anything crazy, but Tyranitar I genuinely started to fall in love with during the course of just that entire domination that he had. As well as the last thing that Tyranitar can actually do too is set up the sand with Sandstream, which I think is very valuable considering the fact we have an entire rock type team, and we don't have too many Pokemon that hold up well, especially defensively, so it'll be a really solid thing to actually have to be able to get that boost to the special defense. We will also update our TM for the last gym, which will be Stone Edge, because it's like the best rock move, so why would I not have that for Gym 8? So our final team will actually end up looking like this. Cradilly as the lead, followed by Aerodactyl, Lycanroc, Tyrantrum, Cleavor, and finally, our ace, Tyranitar. I do think even with Tyranitar as our ace, Aerodactyl can very much still Mega Evolve, and it still makes sense through the makeup of our team. I don't think Mega Aerodactyl is too incredibly overpowered to where it really overtakes Tyranitar as like our best Pokemon necessarily. So I think being able to put him in like the middle of the lineup still and just having that threat of a Mega being there and not necessarily being quote unquote your best Pokemon, or like if you're talking about in a Let's Play, it'd be your highest level Pokemon. I think it'd still be a really fun option, or you know, anything else that Aerodactyl's good at. Otherwise, that is my rock teams. I think the only thing I'm still scared about is not really having too many options specially. I think that worries me a little bit, as well as some of the speed still scares me a little bit, but Aerodactyl and Lycanroc really help out with that a ton. But I like this team a lot. I feel like I don't know how well it'll actually do competitively. I don't think it'll actually do great. So we'll go ahead and see what happens when we go ahead and show this team off on Showdown in a few days from now. Let me know, though, down in the comments below what you guys would do for your rock-type gyms, if, you know, you have anything in particular that you find strongly, if you do gyms 1 through 8 like I do, if you just do Gym 8, or if you just do Gym 1, whatever it may be. But other than that, I would love to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy it. Greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.